History is littered with monumental mistakes that have cost individuals, corporations, and even nations vast sums of money. Some of these errors stem from simple miscalculations, while others were rooted in overconfidence, ignorance, or pure bad luck. Regardless of their origins, these blunders serve as cautionary tales, showcasing the high stakes involved in human decision-making. In this video, we'll delve into some of the most expensive mistakes ever made. From engineering disasters to business oversights, these stories reveal how a single decision can spiral into staggering consequences. Buckle up as we uncover these tales of misfortune and explore the lessons they leave behind. The sinking of the Titanic. Few disasters are as iconic or as costly as the sinking of the RMS Titanic. Dubbed unsinkable by its creators, the Titanic was a marvel of early 20th century engineering. However, a combination of hubris, poor planning, and unfortunate circumstances led to one of the most infamous maritime disasters in history. Its sinking in 1912 not only claimed over 1,500 lives, but also resulted in massive financial losses for the White Star Line and its investors. The ship's design boasted cutting-edge technology for the time, including watertight compartments meant to prevent sinking. However, cost-cutting measures led to the use of lower-quality rivets, which some experts believe contributed to the ship's inability to withstand the iceberg's impact. Moreover, there weren't enough lifeboats for everyone on board, a decision based on aesthetics rather than safety. This oversight proved fatal when disaster struck. The financial fallout was immense. The Titanic cost an estimated $7.5 million to build, equivalent to about $200 million today. The loss of the ship and its cargo, along with lawsuits from victims' families, plunged the White Star Line into financial turmoil. The company's reputation never fully recovered, and it merged with its competitor, Cunard, just a few years later. Beyond the immediate monetary losses, the Titanic disaster spurred significant changes in maritime regulations. Governments and shipping companies were forced to implement stricter safety standards, including mandatory lifeboat provisions and improved iceberg tracking systems. While these reforms saved countless lives in the long run, they were cold comfort to those who suffered in the tragedy. The Titanic story serves as a stark reminder of the dangers of overconfidence and negligence. It is a poignant example of how the pursuit of grandeur can sometimes blind us to the need for caution and responsibility. NASA's Mars Climate Orbiter. In 1999, NASA experienced one of its most embarrassing and costly blunders: the loss of the Mars Climate Orbiter. This spacecraft was designed to study Mars' climate and serve as a communications relay for other missions. However, the project ended in disaster due to a seemingly trivial error, one that cost NASA $327.6 million and shattered the hopes of an ambitious mission. The mistake stemmed from a simple miscommunication between two teams working on the project. One team used imperial units of measurement, pounds and feet, while the other used metric units, newtons and meters. This discrepancy went unnoticed during the spacecraft's construction and operation, leading to catastrophic miscalculations in its trajectory. As a result, the orbiter entered Mars' atmosphere at the wrong angle and disintegrated due to intense heat and pressure. This failure highlighted critical flaws in project oversight and quality control. While NASA had implemented systems to catch errors, these safeguards failed to detect a mismatch in measurement units. The agency later admitted that proper testing and better communication protocols could have averted the disaster. The financial loss was significant, but the damage to NASA's reputation was arguably even greater. The Mars Climate Orbiter's failure came at a time when public support for space exploration was waning, and critics were quick to question the agency's competence. NASA had to work hard to rebuild trust and demonstrate that it could learn from its mistakes. The incident remains a textbook example of how small errors can snowball into monumental disasters. It underscores the importance of meticulous attention to detail, especially in complex, high-stakes projects. While NASA has since taken steps to prevent similar mishaps, The Mars Climate Orbiter serves as a stark reminder of how costly human errors can be. The Chernobyl nuclear disaster. The 1986 Chernobyl nuclear disaster is one of the most devastating industrial accidents in history, both in terms of human suffering and financial impact. Located in the Soviet Union, modern-day Ukraine, the Chernobyl nuclear power plant was a symbol of technological ambition. However, a series of design flaws, poor safety protocols, and operator errors led to an explosion that released a massive amount of radioactive material into the atmosphere. The disaster occurred during a late-night safety test on Reactor 4. Operators attempted to simulate a power outage to test emergency systems, but made critical errors in executing the procedure. These mistakes were compounded by design flaws in the reactor, which was inherently unstable at low power. When the operators lost control, the reactor overheated and exploded, releasing radioactive material across Europe. The immediate cost of the disaster was staggering. The Soviet government spent an estimated $18 billion, about $68 billion today, on containment, cleanup, and resettlement efforts. This included constructing the original sarcophagus to encase the damaged reactor and relocating over 300,000 people from the affected area. Additionally, the long-term health impacts, including increased cancer rates, have imposed significant costs on healthcare systems. Beyond financial losses, the disaster had profound geopolitical consequences. Chernobyl exposed the Soviet Union's lack of transparency, as the government initially tried to cover up the accident. This eroded public trust and accelerated the USSR's eventual collapse. It also prompted a global reassessment of nuclear safety, leading to stricter regulations and the abandonment of several nuclear projects worldwide. Chernobyl stands as a harrowing example of what can happen when safety is compromised for the sake of efficiency. The disaster's legacy endures, not only in the desolate exclusion zone that remains uninhabitable, but also in the lessons learned about the catastrophic cost of human error. The explosion of the Deepwater Horizon. The Deepwater Horizon disaster of 2010 is one of the costliest environmental and industrial accidents in history. Operated by BP, the offshore drilling rig was extracting oil from the Macondo prospect in the Gulf of Mexico when a blowout caused a catastrophic explosion. The incident killed 11 workers and unleashed a torrent of oil into the ocean, creating an environmental crisis of unprecedented scale. The disaster was caused by a combination of technical failures and poor decision-making. A key factor was the failure of the rig's blowout preventer, a critical safety device designed to seal the well in the event of a pressure surge. Additionally, BP and its contractors ignored warning signs during drilling operations, prioritizing cost-saving measures over safety precautions. These missteps culminated in an explosion that ignited the rig and caused it to sink. The financial repercussions were enormous. BP faced over $65 billion in cleanup costs, legal settlements, and fines. The spill released an estimated 4.9 million barrels of oil into the Gulf, devastating marine ecosystems, killing wildlife, and ruining livelihoods dependent on fishing and tourism. Cleanup efforts spanned years, with significant portions of the Gulf coastline affected by tar balls, oil slicks, and toxic dispersants. Beyond monetary losses, the disaster severely damaged BP's reputation. Public outrage over the company's negligence led to widespread boycotts and regulatory scrutiny. BP's stock price plummeted, and the company was forced to overhaul its safety practices. The disaster also prompted the U.S. government to tighten offshore drilling regulations, introducing more rigorous oversight and safety standards. The Deepwater Horizon tragedy is a sobering reminder of the risks associated with industrial activities and the high cost of prioritizing profit over safety. It highlights the importance of accountability and preparedness in mitigating potential disasters. The sale of Alaska. In 1867, the Russian Empire made one of the most infamous real estate deals in history by selling Alaska to the United States for $7.2 million. Roughly 2 cents per acre. At the time, the decision seemed practical. Russia was financially strained and feared losing Alaska to Britain in a conflict. However, the deal would later be seen as one of the greatest strategic and economic blunders ever made. Initially, the transaction was mocked in the United States and derisively referred to as Seward's Folly, named after U.S. Secretary of State William H. Seward, who brokered the purchase. Alaska was thought to be a barren wasteland with little to offer. For years, its potential remained untapped, and critics questioned the wisdom of investing in such a remote and seemingly useless territory. However, this perception changed dramatically in the late 19th century with the discovery of gold during the Klondike Gold Rush. Alaska's true value was further realized in the 20th century with its vast reserves of oil, natural gas, and other natural resources. Today, the region generates billions annually through resource extraction, tourism, and fishing industries. The initial $7.2 million investment has been repaid many times over, making the deal one of the most profitable acquisitions in U.S. history. From Russia's perspective, the sale of Alaska is viewed as a monumental error. The territory they considered a liability became an economic powerhouse for their former rivals. The loss of Alaska also diminished Russia's strategic influence in North America, leaving a lasting impact on global geopolitics. The Alaska purchase serves as a powerful reminder of the risks and rewards of underestimating potential value. It demonstrates how decisions driven by short-term considerations can lead to long-term regret, altering the course of history in profound and unforeseen ways. Blockbuster's rejection of Netflix. In the early 2000s, Blockbuster was a global giant in the home entertainment industry with thousands of stores worldwide. At its peak, the company was valued at nearly $6 billion. However, in 2000, Blockbuster made one of the most infamous business decisions of all time when it declined an opportunity to buy Netflix for just $50 million. This fateful choice ultimately led to Blockbuster's downfall and Netflix's rise as a dominant force in entertainment. Netflix at the time was a fledgling DVD rental service struggling to compete with Blockbuster's retail empire. Its founders approached Blockbuster's executives with a bold proposal. Netflix would manage Blockbuster's online presence while Blockbuster focused on its brick-and-mortar stores. The deal was dismissed, with Blockbuster executives reportedly laughing at the idea, believing that their business model was untouchable. What followed was a dramatic shift in consumer behavior. As high-speed internet became widely available, streaming technology gained traction. Netflix pivoted to become a streaming service, revolutionizing how audiences consumed entertainment. Meanwhile, Blockbuster clung to its outdated model, failing to adapt to the changing market. By 2010, Blockbuster filed for bankruptcy, closing the vast majority of its stores. Today, Netflix is worth over $150 billion and boasts millions of subscribers worldwide. It not only dominates the streaming industry, but also produces award-winning original content. In contrast, Blockbuster is remembered as a cautionary tale of complacency and missed opportunities. Only one store remains in operation, serving more as a nostalgic novelty than a viable business. Blockbuster's rejection of Netflix highlights the dangers of underestimating innovation and failing to recognize emerging trends. It serves as a potent lesson for businesses. Success is never guaranteed, and adaptability is key to survival. Throughout history, costly mistakes have shaped the course of events, leaving lasting impacts on individuals, businesses, and entire nations. From the Titanic's tragic sinking to Blockbuster's refusal to embrace digital innovation, each of these errors offers valuable lessons. They remind us that overconfidence, neglecting safety, and failing to anticipate change can lead to monumental losses. However, these blunders also provide opportunities for growth and progress. They have sparked reforms, driven innovation, and reshaped industries. The stories of these costly mistakes are not just about failure, but about the resilience and adaptability that followed. Each lesson learned from these errors has helped build a better future, whether through improved safety regulations, smarter business strategies, or more prudent decision-making. As we reflect on these monumental missteps, we must remember that every mistake carries a potential for growth. By acknowledging the costs and learning from them, we can avoid repeating history's most expensive blunders. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more insightful content. Stay curious, and until next time,